But I kind of figured out like the whole painting aspect of it. TJ was involved as well as this.
Well, they didn't have a whole lot of pyrotechnics last week,
Nah,
so that guy had
left over.
That guy had some extra time.
Yeah. So if you notice, the cars are black, the grills are yellow, and the names are white. Okay. Now, a lot of times when you're painting, and if you're just using this, it's talking about budget. Sometimes when you're painting, you're just going to use like that black matte type of thing, spray paint, right?
Did you say matte?
I think, is that what it's called?
Matte.
Is it just matte? I think it's matte. 2 T's and an E. It's matte. Listen.
Like pate?
Yeah, exactly. No accent over either.
Fancy. It's
yeah.
so fancy.
So when you're spray painting it, and sometimes people aren't around, and apparently TJ got involved in this spray painting thing, all right? And he must have been like over something, because as he's spray painting, he's like, oh, I got to get around this area. And he didn't realize when he was and I'm going to stand up, as he's spray painting the bottom of his flannel shirt.
Oh, God,
black.
His shirt is so bad.
Black. So he's spray painting the car, and he's like, they're like, hey, you're spray painting your shirt. He's like, oh, well, it's a fashion thing now. Because that shirt
was terrible.
TJ, what are you doing?
It was like a mullet. Like, it was like, looks good.
It's exactly what it looked like. It looked like he was like spray painting something. He's like, I'm just going to get this corner.
It was like business
the wind is blowing it at you. Don't do that anymore.
On the bottom.
And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, all right, well, I have it all over. So this is the
legit, up until about like an inch before his belly button, I was like, good look. What up, Challenge fans? We are Final Alliance Podcast. We just finished watching episode 7 of the Challenge USA, titled State of the Unions, plural, the unions.
Yeah, because obviously it's like alliances, but they're not going to use that because they use the things to do with America, because America's Challenge, and the winner of this goes on to do the World Challenge exclusively on Paramount Plus. There you go. There's a plug that we're not getting paid for. Anyway, you said by first look you weren't too excited about this episode. I was not. Based on the preview, I'm like, this one looks like it's going to be pretty boring. But I think it pulled its weight.
I didn't mind the challenge. I didn't mind the arena. There was some strategy stuff happening with who's going to go in, that kind of stuff. But they're just not bringing it as far as like the drama and the things that really like would, as a challenge fan, like keep me going. Do you know what I mean?
There's got to be something here. So yeah. I do know what you're saying. And
it's so serious.
I'm telling you, there's got to be something to do with, even though they're not doing it. I mean, they have all this workout equipment. They've got 2 pool tables. There's Lord knows what else they have out there. There's just not downtime to just do things. You're right. They're too serious. Mm-hmm. And we've followed the original challenge for years.
Of course.
Okay? And majority of people probably watching, listening have as well. And I'm sure you've stumbled up across the podcast here and there, and you've heard about, some of the shenanigans or where rivalries start, whatsoever. But it comes out of boredom. Mm-hmm. They find things to do.
Right.
They do pranks, or maybe they just start fights, or, there's been times where Bananas or anyone else has been like grabbing production, like, hey, you got to come watch this.
Right.
There's not really here. They just kind of talk to each other like, hey, what do you do? And no one wants to give away any secrets too much. And, and that's okay. But it's just not, there's nothing wrong with this challenge. It's just not the challenge. How's that?
Yes.
So game, for all these multiple million people that haven't watched MTV, or they watched it back in the day and they're like, oh, it really has changed. It's still not the same challenge. And I think we'll talk more about Kylan later, because Klinger made a point earlier about Kylan is understanding the game and he wants to come back. Well, you'd be gobbled up and spit out. And we can talk about that later as well. It's just, they're sticking to their shows.
Right.
They're sticking to the way how they got to on those shows. And that's not always how the challenge works. And
right.
And maybe that's it, because we don't have any of those bar scenes. We don't have
that's a big one.
Yeah. It's just a talk here and there. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves, and I apologize.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think about even with All Stars, I would be super excited. Mm-hmm. On Challenge Day, I'm like, yes, it's gonna be a really good one, because it's got all the people that I love, and they would. I mean, it was still a more mature adult version of the show,
Mhm.
but it brought it
Yeah.
as far as the drama, the politicking, the phenomenal music. And this is just, I don't know. This one just kind of was like, meh.
Yeah. No, but I think as much as it sold it as during the preview and everything else, I think it was a little better with some of the drama. I think the editing was a little bit better. But as you get into it, we'll see the foreshadowing, which was here and there and whatnot. So
we have our perfect algorithm, of course.
Yep, the perfect algorithm.
Absolutely perfect. Danny and Justine, Alyssa and Leo, Desi and Ben, Kylan and Kira.
Yeah.
Kayla and Dom, Sarah and Tyson, which I'm like, whoa!
That's the one last week that we said 1,000% they're going to be matched up next week. So, again, we said it last week. We'll say it again. That perfect algorithm is tongue in cheek. It is
for sure.
It's a way, a nod to be like, yeah, we know it. Everyone else, you know it. We're doing it the way we want to do it. We're doing it for production reasons. So,
well, and challenge stats went through, and they're like, no. Like as far as last week, there were so many other options for, who was selected last week to be paired before they would have had to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, come on. Like you're not even being all that believable, guys.
Yeah.
Then we also have Cache and David and Angela and Enzo, which with Angela and Enzo, I was like, ooh, like, I feel like they're kind of trying to put her with maybe not the strongest competitors. Mm-hmm. That's been 2 weeks in a row.
So where's Kenny at?
Kenny.
What? You know what I'm talking about. Who is
Danny?
It? Danny, thank you.
Danny's with Justine, which I remember I was like, that's a good team.
That's a good, right away I was too. And then they go to their little like partner one-on-one where they're like, yeah, and we're going to get him money. And then I'm like, here it comes. We're going to get Danny. Sorry. We're going to get Danny money for, and I'm like, here it comes. Right away. And they're like, so we can run TJ's final. And I'm like, oh, what? No,
I know. I know. He had, you said, what was it, 3 interviews?
3. He didn't drop until the 3rd.
And I was like, it's like every time I was like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are they stopping it? Because I don't want them to stop it. Like, I need to hear about Kiki McCrae, his wife. I have to hear about his wife, Kiki. Like, I need it in my world. It's probably the most entertaining thing that has happened on the show as of late.
It is. It's the high five moment of the show when it gets dropped.
But he does give it to us, but it's not till a little bit later.
The Tyson Sarah thing. We knew that was coming.
For sure.
I know Tyson gives not a very happy like speech about it. He's like, do I hate her? No, but I don't like her.
Right. He's like, yeah, I don't hate her. And she's super still feeling however she feels about him. She's like, I want him to feel nervous and da 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 da.
Get over it.
And he's like, she wants me to go in, but with her as my partner, then that like puts me a little safer. But then she also later, she doesn't have the money to go to the final because you need $5,000. So she's like, well, now would be a good time.
Yeah. She's a lot. I mean, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned for Sega, I guess.
Mallrats?
Yeah, it's Mallrats, yeah. And then Alyssa. I like Alyssa's.
Alyssa really did well in all the interviews.
I know, but you knew where it was coming. You knew what she was doing when she was saying that she was happy to be with Leo. And I was like, this is good because you knew it was going to be like.
Was that believable?
Yeah. And so I appreciated that.
It was cute. It's just really cute in her interview looks tonight, too.
Yeah.
So did, oh my God, Desi.
Oh.
That's hashtag new crush for me. She looked beautiful in her interview looks today.
I must not have been paying attention to the 15 seconds that she was on the screen tonight. So,
it was beautiful. You missed out.
I was trying to go back a couple episodes. I'm like, what's going on with Kira or whatever, but not the same brown dress that she wore before. So
too bad.
She was Lady in Red tonight. I did
but
pay
you still
attention.
paid attention to her.
Yeah. Sorry, Desi. Next week, you'll be on my radar.
Desi's got those like just piercing eyes. They're like sparkly.
Yeah. She with, you already went down the list. She was with
Ben.
Oh, Ben, yeah. And then
which Ben is like dirt racing, he's familiar with it.
And David had Cache.
David and Cache.
They were never on the screen. He came in much later, like when there were so many people who were not even, that's the other thing. They're losing personalities. And I'm not saying they all have them, but they are just focusing way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Then and it just on certain personalities. It is absolutely to lose. There's no cachet in here at all.
No, and she's been
Like it just said,
kind of the star.
Desi's in there for that little bit. Nope, don't know that at all. They're just losing people,
Yes.
and they will start to show as we get into it by when they start doing camera. And we've always said it. Sorry to repeat ourselves. They're gonna take you where they're gonna go.
Oh, for sure.
And you can just be like, well, that they're out there, and right away you can tell who's going to be the stars of the episode. So.
For sure. Angela, Tyson, and Kylan, they're all talking. We got Dom doing like the voiceover about how saying they're the 3-headed monster, needs to split them up because they're all really good competitors. They all have a lot of money. He doesn't want to go against them in the final, specifically the men.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Tyson and Sarah had their little BS talk that, one of those talks where they're like, yeah, we're good. Let's just win this one, and then that'll be easy for us. Cool. And it's like they walk away from each other and you just know that like they were both like, it was just BS to each other.
Where he's just like, well, if we don't win it, she could throw herself in. That's a smart move because then she'd get some money out of it because I'm a strong competitor. I wouldn't lose in a final. And just talk to your partner about it. I mean, I get there's some bad blood from Survivor and when he put her in, but in the end, I mean, you can't really have a conversation with someone you're about to go into competition with if the whole time you're thinking like, oh, they're probably doing the exact opposite of what they're telling me.
Right.
It's just
that kind of the trust isn't there.
Yeah.
And then this challenge, you needed trust for sure. We get, we have the interview about Alyssa saying she's nervous about being partnered with Leo. It was like the second time we'd seen her in the first 5 minutes, and I'm like, And then Leo all of a sudden gets a phone call, and I'm like, oh,
that's when
oh, here we go. He gets a phone call from his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they don't get phone calls very often. They have not shown any phone calls on Challenge USA yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're right because you're right because it's only been. Yeah, you're right. It was only in the All-Stars.
Yep, we haven't seen any phone calls yet. So that I'm like, okay, something happened. He's going home, or this is going to be meaning that he's going to go into the elimination. Something.
Now that you say it even more, now it's so ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah. He's talking to his girlfriend. He's like, oh man, I've been like sleeping a lot. Like, it's just nice. It's like relaxing. And she's like, well, cool. It's not relaxing here because like I'm managing the business while you're gone and I'm putting out fires all the time and the credit card machine isn't working and we lost money and it's just this whole thing. It's stressful,
Don't bury the lead about Leo, how it's worse than Kiki. Twice in this episode. He's worse than dropping the Kiki. This has been fun. This challenge has been great. I sleep all day like a cat.
Oh yeah,
like,
he starts right away with the cat.
It's always. I don't know why we've even passed over this. Leo is dropping the cat thing more than
for sure
than Kenny's dropping Kiki. Or Danny's dropping Kiki. Sorry, I keep saying it. But
Danny gives it to us like once an episode.
Yeah.
Leo we can usually count on about 3.
Yeah. So then she was like, basically by editing probably, but it doesn't look good. She's like, "Oh, you're having the time of your life." Sleeping like a cat all day? Well, let me tell you what's going on. I'm putting out fires everywhere. Your employees are all upset. I have to do all the stuff you should be doing. I don't know what's going on. I just found out that his businesses are bars.
Yeah, I think I saw that on his Insta. Restaurants, bars, maybe something like that.
It can't be that big of a deal.
I mean, you have experience with owning a bar. I do not. So
I mean, you have credit card reps that will take care of this. The money is recoverable. Like, I don't understand it. And on top of it, not the first time he left his restaurants, if I believe, bars, restaurants.
Yeah, if he probably had them when he was on Amazing Race.
So maybe he put the wrong person in charge.
Right. Well, and I can understand her thought process. Like, if the owner was on vacation, you could just reach him by a phone call, be like, look, like this is happening. I don't know what to do. Can you like point me in the direction of the right person to contact? It's harder to get a hold of people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You do have general managers that are in charge of the stuff.
True.
If you're the owner. And you do have credit card reps for the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it goes as far that the employees are that upset. Now she's like, you have employees that are mad at you, you're not there. either way, it's all compounded. She delivers the message. She's not happy with him. And he's like, I'll walk out of here right now.
And I think he was waiting for her to say, no, like, it's fine. Like, I'm stressed. Don't leave. It's fine. But she's like, no, yep, cool.
Yeah.
She's like, good.
Yeah. That's right. MTV will put you on the next flight, from what I understand. Yeah.
CBS.
Yeah.
But-
CBS. Viacom, whatever. Yeah.
And then he like immediately starts packing. I'm like, oh my God, like, this is real?
Mhm.
This is real. Like, he's actually doing this. And I'm like, okay, if it's his business,
You
and
could
he's
see
really stressed out about it.
You could
Okay.
see it.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, 40% of me could see it. 6%, I was like, nope, this isn't adding up.
Well, and from what I can tell, I think this is a 10 episode season. This is episode 7. So they only, like, we're talking like maximum of 2 more weeks.
Yeah, at most.
So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then Alyssa sees them and she's like, please don't. Like, please, like, you're my partner. Like, if you go home, then that could mean that I have to go home, which has happened to people many times.
100% correct.
Remember on Rivals, I think it was Rivals 2, Trishelle just was like, I'm not into this anymore. And Sarah had to go home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, please don't go. And she's like, nah, I just don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
And Sarah like had to go.
Yeah, and she was, and rightfully so, because at any point they could just be like, no, the perfect algorithm doesn't work for this, and whatever, you need to go home too. She was so in the right, but it was so little of a sell that I was like, what is this guy doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just gets off the phone, he's like, oh, you think I should come home? And she's like, yeah, you can come home. He's like, or I'll go home. Like, I'm the one that making decisions.
And she's like,
he's
do
not
it.
making decisions. Yeah. And then Alyssa's like, no, don't go. You can't go. You can't do this, that. Now, obviously, editing or whatever else. But I don't care. Either way, the editing is what we see. And it's just like,
The next day, all of a sudden, he's there.
yeah, dude. Are you running the business? Are you running this team? Are you the guy that's going to talk about how he's going to win this final or whatever else? Like, doesn't really come off like an alpha male. Like, oh, you
Which
don't
is
think I
fine.
should do that? It is fine. Absolutely. But you can't pound your chest and be like, I'm going to win this thing or talk about it. It doesn't matter if it's the first time we talk to him in the confessional or one-on-one or after. It's just like, are you making decisions or who is? They're just telling you what to do and you're like, yeah.
I think when people make those kind of rash decisions, they're not thinking with like the logical part of their brain. You know what I mean? So maybe a few minutes went by, she talks to him, he thinks about it, and he's like, yeah, like, that'd be really sucky of me to just like make you have to go home. You know what I mean?
Or you just go, are you having fun? He's like, this is awesome.
Right. He was having the best time.
Yeah, and would you like to come back? Yes, of course. You're never coming back. TJ hates quitters. And he goes, oh, instead of like, just don't do it. Don't leave for me. And he's like, yeah, for you. Yeah. And I'm just going to go win this to prove to everybody and take care of all the people that have somehow been so stressed out over this.
Although I did, when he was packing up and I was like looking at Alyssa as his partner, I'm like, oh, you know how she was very instrumental in getting Xavier home, sent home. And like, because that was about revenge. I'm like, oh, is this like some karmic,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Karmic situation happening for her, like her game getting blown up after doing that. You know what I mean? But he ended up staying. Happy that he did.
This, and also one more thing, because like you said, the next day they show up. This isn't as big of a deal as production makes it to be, because if it was, TJ would have said, Leo, good to see you. Heard we almost lost you. So
what's going on, man?
Yeah.
I heard you packed up. You
Yeah.
good? Yeah, he would have absolutely done that.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Especially with how playful Leo is with TJ.
Yep, and yeah, we'll talk about that. So there's a weird thing with the editing here about how bad this actually was.
Do you think it was like, on Friends, they're in Vegas and Chandler like is all like, I'm leaving, I'm going, I don't want to be here anymore. And Monica convinces him to stay, and then she grabs his bag and it's empty. He was like, it was just like a prop. Like,
yeah. Everything
do you
packed.
think, you think it was just his
Yeah.
suitcases?
Everything's still there.
Right, like he didn't
But
pack anything.
yeah, he's still like in his
Never-
challenge. He was in his challenge gear the whole time, and I guess we just didn't know it because it was like from a security camera. If you actually see it, or whatever else, like, oh wait, he's still in his tights and black shorts.
He wasn't
Like,
even
what-
actually gonna move, like or leave. They just were like, "We can't have your suitcases over here anymore. You need to put them in the closet."
It probably was. So yeah, let's get into the challenge though.
All right, so we get into the challenge. It's called recreational driving. Like you wreck your car. You want to be the last car left. Your car has 4 balls on the side of it. Kind of, it's like the back and like the sides.
Yeah, it's on the back, like 2 in the very rear, and then 2 on the sides. There's a grill over the back and the front. So basically, kind of like a demolition derby, but not so much. You know,
And it's like a dirt, and it's like a dirt track.
Yeah, game of tag, demolition derby type of thing.
And you can push your car into someone else's car to pop their balloons, or you accidentally knock off your own balloons because there's barrels around it. So it's, if all your balloons are gone, you're done.
Yep.
Or if like you wreck your car, you're done.
Yep.
You're gonna be the last person left. The first team that is out, obviously they're at the bottom. They will go into the elimination. Like, okay, all right. And then TJ is like, and the person driving is going to be blindfolded.
Yeah.
And that, I was like, ooh, that did add like a level of excitement. I would like to do this one, but I would like to be the dictator. I would not like to be the driver.
Immediately, I wanted to be in this one. It doesn't matter blindfold or not. I've always wanted to be in demolition derby.
Yeah.
About a year ago, I saw my first demolition derby. It's not really what I ever thought it was going to be like or whatever, but immediately I wanted to be in this. As far as the driving, absolutely as well. Driving, I can do that with eyes closed or whatever, and pay attention, hard right, hard left. But I can, as we talk about it, you can see how things happen or whatever. So
yeah, I thought this looked a lot more fun than it did in the preview. I was like, okay, all right, I like this. And obviously, it requires the teamwork, the communicating, which is wonderful. Because when he was explaining it first, I'm like, cool. So like, the partner's just chilling.
yeah.
Along for the ride.
So I like how they have all the things in there, people talking, and then
they got their names like on the vehicles. That was pretty cool. Like painted on. It looked like maybe like I don't know. They do stencils.
Yeah, that was great. I was trying to figure out if they just like superimposed them, because at one point I'm like, why did they go through all this or whatever else? But I kind of figured out like the whole painting aspect of it. TJ was involved as well as this.
Well, they didn't have a whole lot of pyrotechnics last week, so
that
guy had some extra time.
Yeah. So if you notice, the cars are black, the grills are yellow, and the names are white. Okay. Now, a lot of times when you're painting, and if you're just using it's talking about budget. Sometimes when you're painting, you're just going to use like that black matte type of thing, spray paint, right?
Did you say matte?
I think, is that what it's called?
Matte.
Is it just matte? I think it's matte. 2 T's and an E. It's matte. Listen.
Like pate?
Yeah, exactly. No accent over the either.
Fancy. It's so fancy.
So when you're spray painting it, and sometimes people aren't around, and apparently TJ got involved in this spray painting thing, all right? And he must have been like over something, because as he's spray painting, he's like, oh, I got to get around this area. And he didn't realize when he was and I'm going to stand up, as he's spray painting the bottom of his flannel shirt.
Oh, God,
black.
His shirt is so bad.
Black. So he's spray painting the car, and they're like, hey, you're spray painting your shirt. He's like, oh, well, it's a fashion thing now. Because that shirt
was terrible.
TJ, what are you doing?
It was like a mullet. Like, it was like, looks good.
It's exactly what it looked like. It looked like he was like spray painting something. He's like, I'm just going to get this corner.
It was
and they're
like business.
The wind is blowing it at you. Don't do that anymore.
On the bottom.
And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, all right, well, I have it all over. So this is the thing.
Legit, up until about like an inch before his belly button, I was like, good look. And then and then it went to like just like blue. Like, it wasn't like super like ombre on the way down. It was just like, and blue.
It's blue, but it looks like it, but it's black because the wind is taking the particles from the spray paint.
Yes, from all of his spray painting with the matte.
Matte. It's not matte, it's matte. Is it really?
Matte.
Who cares? I'm not in art class.
It's okay. There's words I get wrong sometimes.
Sure.
Kayla and Dom name their vehicle the Dreamsicle.
She names it, not him.
Yes. Yes. Dom is very complimentary about Kayla. Kayla is incredibly, he said, like, concise, and, he can hear well and confident, and that's wonderful.
Clear and concise. Both of them say it. Yep.
Danny then says, at home, I'm the one that drives. I drive around Kiki, my wife Kiki, because, she's not a very good driver. So I'm pretty good at this. I can handle this.
That's when he finally dropped the Kiki.
I know. I was like, oh, there it is.
There it was.
There it is. Thank goodness. Leo and Alyssa, they were doing okay, but they didn't have a great go of it. They were the first out. They crashed into kind of like a hill of dirt.
As far as editing goes, it made it look like they were on a good run to I think they might have popped the first balloon as far as editing. But Kayla and Dominic had a good start as far as editing goes, the whole thing. You did mention Ben. Ben said he's raced on dirt tracks before. He's right in this place.
And I was excited. I was like, oh my God, he's going to finally get a win.
And Sarah's a police officer.
The way she was turning the wheel and stuff, that did look like she knew what she was doing.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean,
but it didn't work. Their communication was terrible.
Good. Terrible. So, but like I said, as far as editing goes, Leo and Alyssa looked good, but as she told him, I think stop. As they just popped the balloon, they run into the dirt wall, and they're the first ones to wreck the car.
And then Ben ends up going over like a barrel, and they're like up.
Yeah,
they're like on the barrel.
Yeah, and we see a lot of crashes
for sure.
And they did say these cars are not built like we thought they were.
Right.
They can't get over it. The wheels aren't getting over these trash cans or anything like that. They're getting caught up. So
I thought Desi and Ben, their communication was really good. Danny and Justine's communication was really good. Cachet and David, didn't really see anything of that from them. Angela and Enzo, I didn't really see anything from them.
No.
Enzo and Danny, Enzo and David, last week they had so much camera time.
Yeah.
And then now this week they're just back to being in the background again. They didn't really give us anything from them again.
Yeah, it's one of the things David, he crashes his and he's like, oh, I know we're not last, but I'm just afraid I'm going to put in. You're not being put in. No one's afraid of you in the final. I'm sorry, buddy.
Right.
Great. All right, there's your 7 seconds. Move on that they just gave you.
Right.
So you say that with sympathy and empathy. I know it's bad for Dave. He's not bringing anything to the table.
Right.
We just talked about at the beginning of this episode. There's just some personalities that are not spicing this up.
True. And you gotta. Somebody's gotta, for the love. Dom and Kayla win. I was so incredibly excited for them because they both have been underdogs.
Yeah.
Kayla has been very, very good politically. But, I don't think she's not on people's radar as far as a physical threat. Even though she's performed pretty darn well in everything.
Yeah.
And then
Dom, keep in mind, they popped all those balloons in the last car.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't. The other cars didn't. That was the only car that lost all their balloons. Everyone else crashed.
You're right.
So that's says so much about their communication and what they did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no, you're good. And then Dom too. I was happy for him just because he's been growing on me. I don't know. He's been growing on me
a little bit. I could say there's a lot of drunk with power in the second half of this episode, but yeah.
But he's thinking about the final. He's like, I don't want to go against this person. I don't want to go against that person.
I did say later on when he made his choice, and we'll talk about that. I said he made the right call. I agree with everything he's saying. Yeah.
As TJ's telling, Kayla and Dom, they won, and Leo and Alyssa, you're in the bottom. A car in the background explodes.
Finally, yeah. I think it was their car. Down there, and you're like, explosions, pyro.
Finally.
Here we go.
Something.
All right. Yeah. And everyone's like, whoa. No, that wasn't even close yet.
No.
Yeah. It's a step up.
Right.
Just not there.
I got a scale of 1 to 10, last week with the sparklers, where that was probably a 1.
Yeah.
This is maybe a 4.
Yeah. I give it. I agree with that.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Working our way up. Then we have this deliberation, and these deliberations have just become a waste of time because no one wants to give names. That's the right decision, but it amounts to absolutely nothing. So it's why are we even bothering seeing this anymore? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And they're like, we're not going to do it. I don't have a close relationship, blah, blah, blah. And Alyssa's like, okay. And then, like, there's also little things like when they come out, there's that sliding barn door, and Alyssa, like, goes to pull it. She's like, ugh.
I know, the grunts.
I'm like,
the grunts.
What is going on? You can't close a door?
It's probably heavy.
I know, but still, like, everyone must be looking and be like, yeah, she definitely is weak. And Leo's like,
maybe that was a game she was playing, like trying to trick people.
But it's the deliberations more the people who might be put in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was what was kind of annoying me.
She couldn't open.
No. About the next people that we'll talk about, like who comes to talk to them, like Angela and Kylan or whatever else.
Yeah. So Angela then starts campaigning because she's like, I'm not stupid. I can figure out what's going to be happening here. I have not the strongest of partners. I've been somebody that's been winning. It is likely that they are going to want to vote me in.
Yeah.
So she goes over to Kayla, and Kayla, during their conversation, they're doing the big brother thing. Like, okay, so if you're partnered with somebody next week that needs money and wants to go in, and if I win, I'm not going to put you in, that kind of stuff. But Kayla's like, it's very convenient. We have not talked game at all.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you're talking game to me.
It doesn't work. And I said that to you while we were watching this. And we watched this, by the way, before we do this.
Yeah, we always watch together. And
I said, she's doing the big brother and it doesn't compute. It doesn't equate.
Right.
You can't sit there and say, like, well, if I win HOH or if I win, and if I'm not HOH and I win Power Veto, I will use it on you. Like, there's too many. And like you said, like, wouldn't someone, you even said, like, right away, you're just like, well, someone could throw it and do it. And there's so many different, it's not Big Brother. And they're trying to do it. And they think like their game's smarter. Survivor thinks their game's smarter. Big Brother does. Amazing Race and Love Island, they all think their game is smarter.
Right.
But really, it's a different game.
Right.
Adjust to it.
Yes.
So it didn't make any sense at all. And then Kylan tries to do kind of the same thing. Not so much, but he's just like, I'm going to, take care of you. I mean, obviously, we've been on outside. And I was like, it doesn't work like this. Like, it's just, and obviously I can't speak too much of Survivor or the other ones, but Big Brother and the Challenge I can. And I was like, these two worlds do not mesh.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. And I did, to touch on what you just said about what I had, said, I'm like, someone's going to just throw it, because we're getting to this point where we only have a few episodes left. The final most likely will be a 2-episode, I would think, or an episode and a half final. So the people that don't have the money now are going to be scrambling to get the money to qualify for TJ's final. So if you know that likely people aren't going to vote you in because like they think you're a threat, like a Sarah, for example, like doesn't have the money, but she is probably a decent athlete, I guess. Throwing it seems like a good call to put yourself into the elimination so that you have that opportunity. Like if you don't think that you're going to win it, if you don't think that you're going to absolutely like knock it out of the water. Yeah. So I'm glad that they did switch it up, and we'll talk about that in a minute, because otherwise I don't think it would really get out of hand in a hurry. Dom had said that Tyson had not left Sarah's side all day. Yeah. And they're sitting on the couch and like it's just kind of in silence. And they're in this big warehouse, and there's a big couch, and he's like this, this close to her on the couch. And they're just
they said, if you notice, he hasn't left her side all day. And then he turns but when they do catch Tyson, he's like, I hear people are nominating themselves to go in. She's like, who's that? It wasn't her. He's insinuating it's her. And she was like, then she kind of said like, well, to get that money, maybe I have a good partner. I have a good partner. Maybe I should. And he goes, I don't think it's that point of the game to do
right. And it's like, yes, like, it is.
Really, Tyson?
We got 8 teams left. It's probably 4 teams in the final. It's about that time.
You don't think so, Tyson?
It's about that time.
Yeah. Really? I understand why you don't think
it's about that time.
Yeah. But I was like, it's convenient that you think you've got this game down. It's like, I don't think this would be the time to do that. Like, okay, buddy. Yeah. But
I mean, he's just anything he can think to say to not get her to do that, because he doesn't want to go in. He's like, I don't need to go in. I mean, I get it, but yeah, it is absolutely that time. And then we do see that in the bedroom, Sarah had privately talked to Dom about the opportunity to do that. So he must have, I don't know, Tyson must have had to go to the restroom at some point during the day.
Yeah.
To like separate from Sarah so she could quick have that little conversation.
Yep.
Kylan is also campaigning because he's the second richest man in the house at this point, and he's won quite a bit. He's part of the, the three that Dom is nervous about. He's talking to Dom and Kayla. Here's what I can do for you.
Yeah, it doesn't. None of it works.
No,
what he's saying. It's so. And Kayla had said like, well, we'll get to that when she just doesn't talk to him, and I think we'll talk more right before they.
Oh yeah, because Kayla had said, Kylan always makes a point to like individually talk to people, like strategize, and he didn't make a point to do that to me.
Yeah,
like to the winners if he didn't win.
Yeah,
and he didn't do that, and she's like, I don't want to say she took it personally, but she's kind of like, why would I even like want to? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we're getting right to the elimination to come in. No one knows their decision yet, and she's just like, it kind of made my decision for me. Now this is where Dominic steps in, and this is where he's right.
Absolutely.
Because he says, and he's like, because in my head right away, I'm like, well, they picked Kylan and Kira, and I'm like, he picked the smaller one of the three-headed monster, if you want to call it that. I don't want to, but that's what he called it. You know what I'm saying? The lesser one on the totem pole.
Yeah.
But he said, and I really thought it was going to be Angela. But
I did too.
Kira comes in and she says, like, he doesn't talk to me, and he still didn't talk to me one-on-one. So it made my decision easy. And Dom said, like, I wanted to break this up. I didn't know which way I was going to go, Angela or Kylan. And he goes, I had to follow her. Plus, it gets rid of a guy.
And Angela's a strong female. So if we keep pairing up,
she'll be in final. But Tyson can still be on people's radar. And I was like, that makes all the sense. It works out in his world.
Yeah,
it works out in his world. And then
because it's true, because Tyson is a bigger threat, so somebody else is going to want to take him out.
Yeah. So it was a good decision on his to follow his partner. So that was the pick.
Going into the arena, we've got Leo and Alyssa going through that, the hallway. Yeah. Like, I don't know if he high fives him or whatever. TJ's looking nice in a pea coat, and he goes, "You look fly or as F,
bro,
today, bro."
Yeah. Thanks, Leo. Yeah.
I know you were so irritated about it, but I'm like, I would absolutely. That would be me. I'd be like, TJ, how's it going? I love what you're wearing today.
But you should. I don't think like Leo the cat should just be like, you look fly. Like,
I think it's cute. I don't know. He's oddly endeared me, even though he's irritated me in many episodes.
Sure.
Like, his playfulness is refreshing. It's something. It's giving us freaking something.
Yeah, and you're right. And I can't sit there and ask for one thing and then turn around and criticize another. No, and I'm not gonna lie, I was cheering for them this episode. So yeah, you're right. I don't think I would be like, I don't know.
Yeah. So they voted in Kylan and Kira, and absolutely in this situation, before even knowing what the elimination is, we're looking at the two smallest people in the house, Alyssa and Leo, and two very strong athletes.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So it's looking very obvious that most likely Kylan and Kira are going to come back. Unless it's a puzzle, which we've seen, Leo do like freaking awesome at. So it's called Ball and Chain, which there was a part of me that I was like, excuse me, Danny, who is your Ball and Chain?
You'd say, I'm glad I'm not in this competition because I would never call Kiki my Ball and Chain.
Exactly. Be like, pass.
Yeah.
Danny, can you please help me? So there's a wall with 6 panels. The wall is, they didn't say how high, but I don't know, maybe like 7 feet high.
Sounds good. 8 maybe. Yeah.
The 6 panels all have in front of them a card that you remove the cover of, and it's got a trivia question for it. Then you figure out what the answer is. You get the medicine ball that has the answer, bring it back over. because obviously we have nobody that's 8 feet tall. They've got to figure out a way to like get on people's backs or on their shoulders and lift the heavy weighted medicine ball up and over and onto the panel. And obviously they've used the first team to get it right, and the first team that has like all of them.
All 6 of them, yeah. Or 5 of them. Yeah, 5 of them.
I liked this one a lot.
I did too.
I liked this one a lot. There was a moment that was a little frightening with Kira and Kylan where she had the
great camera angle.
Oh my god, it was scary.
I stood up. I was like, I don't want to see
this. You didn't stand up. You like ran.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to see this. I'm just not I'm not that person. I'm not that person that wants to see people get hurt.
Oh god, no.
I'm not that person that will watch like ridiculousness and watch people skateboard and do
so Jackass was probably never
not at all. I'm just not that person. I don't want to see people get hurt. So I thought, and that my reaction was just to be like, no. And the camera angle was great.
Yeah, it almost looked like the chain got caught in her arm. So she put it up there and then she went to come down and then the chain started to pull down as she was like dismounting from Kylan's shoulders. Yes. And it was just like perfect storm situation. I'm like, I thought it was going to hit a foot or head, something. And but it missed her.
Also that thing in the back of your head where we've watched way too many of these challenges where something like that happens and their knees tweaked and they're like, and you're out. And they've come this far. You're like, I don't want to see this happen. I don't want to see this happen. Mm-hmm. So, but I just,
especially after, she was violently ill last week.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on.
So, yeah.
The trivia questions were good. I liked them a lot. And and then when the trivia questions, the first one, I don't even remember what it was, but Kylan answered it right away. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I forgot. He's like really smart.
Oh, it was how many dimes are in $5?
And he's just like, whoop, right away. Yeah. And then what were some of the other questions?
Stripes on the American flag.
Easy, 13.
They had
stomachs that a cow has. First number in pi.
144
divided by 12. Yeah, we all know it's 3.
144 divided by 12 is on there.
He like holds up 3.
Yeah. And then
sorry, that made me spit.
The ones that really get you there were 2. And the one was that they had for Kylan and Kira was Madonna.
How many marriages?
That's where you decided to pop culture shame me because I was like, I think I know of like 3.
And I'm like, I think I can.
And I was like, Sean
2.
Penn, I think a dancer, and then Guy Fieri, and you're like Guy Fieri. I was like, what? And like you mean Guy Ritchie? I'm like, okay.
I'm sorry, but like, okay. Guy Ritchie, like phenomenal director, like did like Snatch and like Lock, Stock.
Trying to do it as
kind of like a badass,
live, though.
And Guy Fieri,
Guy Ritchie's a badass. Anyway, we're watching it live,
but I'm just
and I'm
like the guy with like the really blonde hair that takes people like around.
This is why we can't be on the challenge because I would have been like, I'm like, here's the 3, and I would have been like, what? And you would have been like Guy Fieri, and I'm like, you know what I'm talking about. And you said like Guy Ritchie. I'm like, but you know what I'm talking about.
We're wasting time here. Burning daylight.
Pop culture shame me over this. So I was like, I think they're off. And I don't know how many times she's been married. And then the Adele, and they were like right away throughout like 8. And I was like,
I thought like 3. I'm like, I don't know how many records she's had, but I'm like, I don't know. But she's been around for a while, but.
So I like that they had those ones that could speed it up. And the ones you might have to think about. Both of them struggled with those. And, those easy ones are, even though it sounds like it's okay to lift 20, 25 pounds and put that up there, the faster you go, your body doesn't recover as much.
Uh-huh.
So,
and you're balancing too, which is part of it.
Oh, yeah. It was not an easy one, but one that I would have liked to do. So.
Yeah, I would have liked this.
And there was a point where I'm like, oh, Leo and Alyssa are winning this. Like I could, because they had it look like, again, it looked like they were leading this thing. It was a home stretch. Kira was struggling from jump to get that thing out up there.
I feel like she probably wasn't still wasn't feeling good.
And then she goes, we have to do something different. And I said,
I know.
I would have gone, huh? What different do you think is going to happen
like,
here?
You're going to go on my shoulders?
Yeah, like, huh? What do you mean different? She's like, we're going to have to do something different, Kylan. I'm like, there is no different.
I think they did pivot into like he was more on like all fours and she stood on him instead of like on the shoulders.
His back like a cat. And Leo was like, "That's my move."
Oh my God,
he's cheating.
Leo got the cat question.
Oh yeah,
it was how many lives?
And he's like, and then he's still pointing. He's like, "TJ, that was for me, bro."
Oh my God, it was so good. I loved that. I did love that.
The baker's dozen. How many senses? Now that you mentioned, how many different questions were there? So, but yeah, and the check was there. Nope. And that was Madonna's weddings, and I was like, I told you. And they did a check, and it was Adele's. When I said Leo and Alyssa, it was Adele's. And then they take down and move it around. Check, no. They still don't know how many times she's been married. And then I was like, they're going to nail this next one. They were like, let's just go with 4. And I was like, that's going to be it. And there you have the horn.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was good. I impressed the heck out of me, Alyssa and Leo. I was really impressed.
Klinger, hey, how many times has Madonna been married, and is one of them happen to be Guy Fieri?
Yeah, I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah, not Guy Fieri, but
yeah, probably 3, 4, 5.
Do you have a computer in front of you that can tell us exactly how many times she's been married? And who they're to?
He's like, he thinks we just want to visit.
Can you stat check for us here?
Yes, I can stat.
Okay, and let us know if
You're doing a great job. Everyone's talking about
it. If it is or not Guy Fieri, and how many times?
It's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
okay,
sure. But all right, so
officially 2.
It's just 2?
I was right.
So Sean Penn and Guy Ritchie?
Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri? Guy Ritchie is Guy Fieri and Jace? Or is
No.
Who's more popular, Guy Ritchie or Guy Fieri?
Depends on where you're at. In the United States, probably about Guy Fieri.
Okay.
Britain, probably Ritchie.
All right. She's no longer married to that guy, though.
No, I think so.
All right.
I don't keep up with Madonna.
Huh.
No, she's dating lots of people. But
she's dating lots of people.
Okay. So
I mean, if you're Madonna, yeah, you date lots of people, you know.
So I would have been pretty good at that, but just would have been like 2. I just wouldn't have had the right name.
Ooh, what would be okay? How many times has Britney Spears been married?
She's got 3.
Oh, you got it.
Federline, the 24-hour one, and then she just recently.
Yep. Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez married?
Mm-hmm.
Were her and Affleck married?
Yeah, they're so married right now.
1, 2. The second time? Were they married? Were they
no,
engaged?
they were engaged the first time.
She's been married 3 times?
I think it's 4.
4? Okay. Huh.
She is so beautiful. Anyway,
yeah.
So obviously, you know, Leo and Alyssa win. Great news for them. Sad for me because Kylan was on my fantasy league team.
Oh. Lopez?
yes.
No.
That's right.
There's no way.
Early in her career.
And Connie Noah.
There was also a guy named Chris.
No, are you thinking of Chris from Selena? She played a character in that.
No, wow.
That was her boy.
It was a guy. He was like bald. It was like when she was very young, like young, new into acting.
I think you're thinking of the movie Selena that Jennifer Lopez played in.
I love that movie, but
that movie.
No,
Fantastic.
I think it's 4. Mark Anthony, Ben Affleck, that guy, and another guy.
Okay. Well, you have to take
Let
that.
us know if you know this.
You'd be like, TJ, check. And be like, no, TJ, it's 4. I know it. Kylan comes out. Kylan's like, I love this game.
He did have a very classy departure.
Sure.
Love that he said he loved the game. You know, as we know, he's been, you know, rewatching old seasons. We've seen him on Instagram with like, you know, people from the flagship. He wants to come back. I would like to see him back. He did a good job.
Shoot up and spit out.
Maybe.
And
it's true. I
over
do
under
wonder,
3.5 episodes, he'd be off the flagship.
I feel like he would be very poised to be in cahoots with like Nelly and Corey.
3.5 episodes, over and under. He's out. They would just be like, yeah, you know, we have to take out because no matter what you do, because they're going to do this thing. You can go on and go to the Challenge World on Premium Plus. But they're going to do a clash,
Mhm.
and they're going to take these people, if not from after another season or whatever else, and they'll take 8 and 8.
Mhm.
They'll do it.
That would be
And
nice.
they'll figure out a way to make alliance. We're taking off the new ones, no matter what.
I would be curious to see, like take your favorite 8 people from this season and put them with 8 people from the flagship, and either partner them up or do it like fresh meat, or where they're partnered or against each other, whatever. Because I think that these people have potential to be really good as far as making a television show, but like they need the other people to kind of help that process along. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just that they're like CBS has like different rules to make it more like family friendly.
Well, MTV does it. So, and I think that the idea is if they do this a second time, if they do something like this, and they don't bring in rookies who constantly get picked off, we watch it all the time, and they always think they're gonna change it. So if you do 8 and 8, and you try to figure out a way, can partner it up.
Realistically, it'd be like 16 and 16 because they start with like
16, 16. Okay,
15 and 15 or something.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know if there's 16 that I want from this cast, but
yeah.
But I mean, right now you can say like, obviously Kylan, Tyson, Dom,
Angela, Desi,
Desi.
Cache, Cinco. Cache is entertaining. Kayla, I thought has been great. Her like strategizing.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. You want to get to that amount, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I think it's better than when you just bring in these rookies from these shows like Are You the One or whatever else, and they just come in, and they're partying, they're like, yeah, and the veterans are just like, they're so dumb, so dumb. They just fall right into everything we do.
So dumb.
Yeah.
And then it ends with, looks like we're going into the algorithm, and TJ is like, wait.
No.
Just kidding.
I don't like this algorithm.
I'm done with the algorithm. And I'm like, I think probably everyone who was watching at watching it live, the consensus was we all had a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Like we were all like, oh, thank you, TJ, thank you, TJ. We hate this, but now I'm wondering. Like now we speculate: are they going to get to pick a partner? Or partner's done?
I think they're going to do a challenge, and I think like
maybe a purge.
I think it's going to be something like that. The bottom 2 have to go against each other, and then whoever wins that has to go against someone that you choose, or something really weird like that to get down to your final. Because, like you said, we've got 2 more episodes. 3 more. To
my knowledge,
yeah. So 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So this is 7. Yeah. So we've got 3 more episodes.
Right.
Yeah, a little bit of purge. I think like bottom 2 go against each other, and then whoever won the challenge, then they get to decide who they go against, and like a 2-day different type of thing. So like on the spot after you lose type of, a nice little purge, and good for them. It was a very lengthy preview.
It looks good. It got me at least a little bit excited though. And there was a scene where that looked like they were in a bar somewhere.
Yes. Sarah was talking to Tyson, and she just tells him like,
was it Tyson or was it Angela?
Sarah was there. I don't know if Angela was there. I just know Sarah was talking to Tyson. She's like, after this, I don't care about you.
I know somebody walked away from Sarah, like they were sitting in a booth, and then she went to the camera like.
Yeah, because that's exactly the face Sarah makes every episode. So it was very lengthy, which leads you to be like, speculate different things, and we could.
I feel like the majority of that was probably portions of the final.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know.
I think the challenge is going to be them on that truck with those pegs, and I think the elimination of the arena is going to be Hall Brawl.
Hell yeah!
So, and in between there, if they lose one in between, but I don't know. I don't remember seeing anything else that would lead me to think more than that. But
yeah, I think it'll be 4 teams in the final. We have 7 left now after this episode, so there might be a double elimination.
I think they're gonna have to. They're gonna speed it up somewhere, or
because next week is episode 8,
or they go to 5 teams. First checkpoint, you're out.
Oh, okay. I like that.
That's
too.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So the challenge, again, we don't know. But I think the challenge will be whatever that's on that truck.
Mm-hmm.
The loser's automatically in. Men and women, there's no like teams. You
Mhm.
decide. The guy decides who goes in. The women decides who goes in. They're
Right.
gonna hall brawl. Come out of there. Now you're ready to run my final. And then episode 9, TJ goes, first checkpoint. Don't come in last on my first checkpoint, because if you
Mhm.
do, you're out. And then the rest of them run for 24 more hours. That's what I think
Yeah.
is going to happen.
I'm just wondering about this money, because there are people that don't have enough money to go to the final. Like Ben doesn't have enough money. Sarah doesn't have enough money.
Okay.
David has it. I don't think Enzo has enough.
Or then that's either.
So what's going to happen there? Like, are you going to be paired up with somebody that has a lot of money? Are you going to be paired up with someone else that doesn't have enough money?
Or that's maybe how you eliminate too. You didn't get enough money. So
Yeah, just
they don't have to
buy.
worry about it. Yeah.
Or you go into the elimination.
You're automatically in the elimination. Win it, or whatever else, but you're automatically in the elimination because we want to give you a shot at this. Jesus.
I don't think Danny has enough money either. My boy Danny.
Yeah, he said that too. Yeah. Oh boy.
I can't lose him, man. I got to hear about Kiki.
Well, he's gonna get lost eventually.
You're just so nurturing.
Prepare yourself for
like,
that.
I can't take it. And you're like, you'll be fine.
Yeah, just prepare yourself for it. Yeah. So,
All right, who do you think won the episode?
Kayla.
I concur. I think Kayla
I thought it was a great episode for her.
was phenomenal.
She held her poise against with Angela.
Mm-hmm.
She had the same thing about Kyland. She was a great communicator, clear and concise in the whole thing. You did say earlier when she was talking to Dominic, you said Dominic said, "Look, Sarah is, notice Tyson had left Sarah's side." It was her that actually said that. So she's actually
right.
She controlled this entire episode, so she hands down won it. And
yes, she did.
I don't even think there's even a close runner up.
I absolutely concur. I am so with you on this, and I'm happy that like the last couple episodes, I didn't feel like we had like a real winner.
Yeah,
this one, absolutely, we have a winner. Kayla got it.
Yeah,
awesome.
And
awesome.
It's
fun to watch.
Yeah, it elevated her to someone who would be coming if we were going to do a challenge, the flagship versus this one, like that. She should be elevated into this because edits were good. Her time with people were good.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. She's understanding the game. She's done a great job.
Yeah, she's freaking awesome. I'm impressed. I'm absolutely impressed. And what I appreciate about her also is she's able to do all these things and really take things in, but she's still incredibly likable to her peers.
Yeah. And to
that's
the camera.
hard. That's hard to do. Yeah.
There's nothing that's come across us where we're like, ugh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right.
That's difficult. So
like I said,
really give it to her.
If they do an all-star, if they do a CBS version of this or whatever, the USA Challenge versus the MTV, she would definitely be invited.
Yes.
In a heartbeat.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Who do you think lost the episode?
Oh. That's another good question. I don't want to pick. I don't think it's Tyson. I think he had a bad edit. That's all. They chose to use him in the car when it was like silence or whatever else. So that's not it. No one came off. I don't know.
Yeah, the best I can do is like maybe Ben, because like I thought he was gonna do well because he says he like does this kind of stuff, and then he didn't, and it just made me sad because I've been rooting for him. But yeah, I don't have like a big like, wow, you really effed that up, didn't you?
Yeah, I understand the Ben one because it's almost like if you're bragging about this, like follow through. Someone follow through.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
He's kind of become, we called Kyle Almost Gets It Kyle. He's kind of become Almost Gets It Ben.
Yeah, he really
like
is.
He's had lots of
Jace. Oh yeah.
He's had lots of second places. He doesn't have the money right now.
Yeah. You know what? I'm sorry. It's Sarah.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting on board with her not being very likable.
Drives the car. She can't. She's like, this is just like training. She can't do it well. She flirts with that. I'm going to send him. I'm going to send this in to get the money. She doesn't do it. Doesn't want to talk to him.
They have this BS conversation at the beginning. That's like,
want to talk to him, and he's like, "Can we talk?" Yeah, and she's like, "Well, I'm willing to work with you." Like I'm sorry. The Ben comparison to doesn't get it. Kyle is so good.
Almost gets it.
Almost gets it. Kyle is so good. It really is. Like, if you shave that beard, he might just be Kyle. It is so good.
Doing an American accent.
I don't want. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, and you just put on a cowboy hat. Like they'll never
They'll
see
never
me.
know.
It's so good, but I don't want to give it to him as loser. I think it's Sarah right now.
Yeah. I'm not. She's getting under my skin a little bit. Like I was on board with her for a while, and yeah, I'm just a little annoyed. I'm not like completely like writing her off, but she's a little irritating to me at this point. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll come back around. Cringeworthy moment.
Did I have a cringeworthy moment? Well, obviously, when my instincts were, I thought that she was going to come crashing down the ball, but I don't know, cringeworthy where I'm like, ugh. Yeah, I honestly, it was the video with Leo. I was just
was uncomfortable.
Like, that editing was bad. It was just like, yeah, it's great, and she just went right into him, and it was like, ugh, I don't want to see this.
It was uncomfortable for sure. And then he's trying to play chicken with her, and he's like, so then I'll just go. She's like, yeah, you should
I'm doing everything, and you're just having the time of your life. Like, everyone knew what he signed up for. This is no surprise to anyone.
Right. Yeah, they give you like an idea of like what the schedule is.
No surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like he just like up and left one day and like didn't tell anybody and was like, keys are on the counter. Deuces.
Yeah. I'll come back with $500,000. You'll love me even more. And she's like, hey, no. They know what was going on. So that's where I just don't get it. It's cringeworthy because I'm like, this is dumb.
I feel like if I were her, I'd be very uncomfortable that aired.
If I feel like I was her and I was that upset, it really didn't look like she was working. It looked like she was on the
outside,
deck,
like on a
just
patio.
Sun.
Yeah,
like it was like no big deal. Like she's like, I'm putting out fires. Like, are you? I'm pretty
like
sure
your grill.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just saw a Chardonnay in your hand. like, are you putting out fires? So yeah, that's kind of
you being gone just caused me to drink.
Yeah.
Did you have a best line? I do.
Okay.
So Kayla was talking to Dom about, what their strategy was for who they were going to vote in. And she said, I want as many people on edge and unsure as possible.
There you go.
Like, ooh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. You look fly as F
I thought that was
today, bro.
Nominated, yeah. You want me to give you what bananas would do?
Yes, absolutely.
Would have 100% helped escort Leo out that door. Oh, that's your girl, bro. That's your girl? That's your business? How much money did you lose? Say
you really think so?
Oh, banana.
He's not a threat, though. He's not a physical threat.
Get everybody out that wants
Although
to.
now,
and then
maybe
Alyssa has to go. Oh, yeah. He would have definitely. He would have. Oh, yeah, man. That's your business. Yeah. Yeah. He would have been right there doing that. Or he would have been
making out with Alyssa, being like trying to get the dude to stay.
Yeah. Or he would have been talking with Kyla and Dom, being like, yeah, he totally hasn't left her all day. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was stirred the pot with that. But I think he would.
Yeah, I think he would have maybe stirred the pot a little bit more with Tyson.
I think he would have pushed Leo. Would have been like, oh yeah, you got to go. Yeah, I've been there before. I have businesses too. Blah blah. Go to my merch shop. Yeah, bananas would have
my merch.
Yeah.
CBS versus MTV. I think this week is kind of the same thing. There's no party. Everything is just all business. I would like to see a little bit of fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's even just like lie to me. Like when they come walking in and they go by the pool tables and they're just racked. I'm like, they've been racked the entire time. No one plays pool either.
Leo and James played like in the beginning.
Oh yeah, that's when they were talking about like we're the only ones here and don't turn on me and then that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess there's a hot tub there too, like outside. Why have we not seen the hot tub?
No one's in it. I'm sure there's a pool too.
It's lame.
Yeah, it is lame.
I don't have any tea this week.
Okay.
It's so just to like make this even more lackluster.
Oh, it's not lackluster. I haven't listened to any of the podcasts. I haven't listened to the one with Tyson. I haven't listened to those with Derek, and
I did just
Bananas
a few.
hasn't been updated in a long time.
Bananas hasn't been updated. I did a few minutes of Tyson's the other day.
Mhm.
It gave me a little bit of insight into last week's episode, but nothing that I was like super drawn towards, and I just moved on to something else.
Are you at all interested in watching the Paramount Plus versions of this where the editing allows them to cuss?
I am.
Okay.
I am. Because I've seen that on Twitter that, yeah, like they have the cussing, and I'm like, oh, that probably does add something.
Because I did hear like Tyson really drops a lot
Oh.
of F-bombs. But
Ain't mad at that.
no. That's right.
You have anything for me?
No, I do not.
I've not watched CT's movie yet. I apologize. I really don't even have a reason. I just didn't get to it.
Nor do you have a reason to watch it. So
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's only an hour and 35 minutes. That's kind of, as I've gotten older, one of my prerequisites. Like if I'm like looking at a movie and I'm trying to decide if it's under 2 hours, I'm like, I don't even care. That's fine. If it's over 2 hours, I'm like,
I'm with you.
I can't. Like I don't have the attention span anymore.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, absolutely. I think every like Marvel movie was like 20 minutes too long.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
But that's why I do those at the theater, because then I don't get distracted by all of my like devices and the dog and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm just like in it.
No. All right. So they made it an hour and 35 minutes because they thought it was going to go to syndication. They could put in commercials in between.
I don't know. But so yeah, I'm going to give that a whirl. That is called The Most Dangerous Game. So I will watch that here hopefully by next week.
Okay.
It's $4.99 on Amazon Prime. That's pretty much all we got.
Right on. No. We made a lot out of a little. It was a decent show. Our podcast was better.
As I talked about it more, like there was more to it. I liked the challenge. I liked the arena. I just could go for some sparkles.
Yeah.
From the staff.
More. Yeah. Yeah.
From the staff.
Yeah. They need to bring some explosion is what they need to bring.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, follow us on Twitter, Final Alliance 1, on Instagram. We are Final Alliance on YouTube. We are Final Alliance Podcast. Please subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. And then on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, we are Final Alliance Podcast.
It's Matt, not Mate.